Hello, good morning, and you're welcome back to the channel. It's always beautiful to have you here. Today, we won't waste much of our time. We'll just discuss very quickly prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. What are the differences between these types of cells and why are they important for us to note and understand? Now, prokaryotic cells, prokaryotes comes from a Greek term that means primitive, something that is not as well developed as another. So when we talk about prokaryotic cells, we talk about cells that are not fully developed. We say they are not fully developed because they lack some basic features that can be easily and clearly seen in eukaryotic cells. And this is important for us to note as life scientists. So the prokaryotic cells include the bacteria and the algae. So they are the prokaryotic cells, and you have many features within the prokaryotic cell. If you look at a bacterial cell, you have many features that can be seen in a bacterial cell, chief of which is the absence or the lack of membrane-bound organelles. So we mean that that within the cytoplasm of a prokaryotic cell, you do not have clearly defined uh, organelles the way you have in a eukaryote. And this is important to note. What is distinct and can be clearly seen in a prokaryotic cell is a nucleoid region. Now, the nucleoid region is an area of the cell that stains differently. That area of the cell looks different. It absorbs more of our stains. And that area of the cell, what we have in that area of the cell is our DNA. Now, in a prokaryote, what you have is one single circular giant chromosome. That's what you have in a prokaryote. So that single giant circular chromosome is super coiled into that area of the cell that we refer to as the nucleoid region, not the nucleus in prokaryotic cells. So the nucleoid region is carrying different types of is carrying DNA, and those DNA have different kinds of information being coded onto them. Now, the information is information that helps in the synthesis of different kinds of proteins and other molecules that are important for the cell. So you have the cytoplasm, you have plasmids, which we refer to as extra chromosomal DNA. That is DNA that is not in the nucleoid region. Now you have the cell wall, you have the cell membrane. Depending on if it's a bacterial cell, you could have flagella, then you could have fimbriae and pili. You could also have other structures outside the cell that help the cell, like capsules, like slime. They help the cell for anchorage. They help the cell in different types of ways. So this is what the prokaryotic cell looks like. And this is basic to what we do as life scientists. You need to understand the differences in these two types of cells. You also have the eukaryotic cells. Now, the eukaryotic cells are more specialized kind of cells. They are cells that have better features. Now, we spent a lot of our time lately discussing different cell organelles, and these cell organelles can be clearly seen in the eukaryotic cells. So the eukaryotic cells have what you call a membrane bound organelle. So their organelles are bound by membranes. They have membranes all around these organelles, and you now see it in the structure and function of these cells. They have the chloroplast, and the types of eukaryotic cells are your plant cells, your animal cells, your fungi. The fungal cells are all types of eukaryotic cells, and they share many features together. Now, they have basic differences one from another. That is, an animal cell will look different from a plant cell, will look different from a fungal cell. But apart from these differences, you have some structures that are, they share all these structures and characteristics, like your membrane bound organelles. So they have nucleuses that carry different chromosomes, and the chromosomes in a eukaryotic cell, they are different. They are linear chromosomes. They can be in pairs, but they are linear chromosomes, while in the prokaryotic cells you have circular chromosomes, and it is one single circular giant chromosome in the prokaryote. In the eukaryote, like you think of human beings, for example, human beings have 23 pairs of linear chromosomes, making 46 linear chromosomes. So these are what you have, and this is clearly in the nucleus. I don't want to go back to discussing all the different organelles. We have videos that have discussed that, so you could look through them: the nucleus, mitochondria, chloroplast, Golgi bodies, lysosomes, different types of structures, the cell wall, cell membrane. They have all these structures. So it's important for us to understand these distinct differences between the prokaryotic cells and the eukaryotic cells. If you're looking for a poster boy for the prokaryotic cells, you look at the bacterial cell. If you're looking for a poster boy for the eukaryotic cells, you look at the animal cell or the plant cell. It gives you an understanding of what the whole thing looks like. Thank you for listening to this. Remember to like our content, share our content, engage with us, ask us questions, and we will move mountains to answer those questions. Do have a wonderful day.